Preeminent Belizean musician Paul Nabor is dead. The celebrated Garifuna singer and guitarist passed away at the Punta Gorda Hospital on Wednesday evening, following a third bout of stroke earlier this month. 86-year-old Alfonso Palacio, the name given to him at birth, is a legendary parandero who has traveled the world over as one of Belize's finest cultural ambassadors.
Two powerful images stick with me, Paul Nabor. One is an image of him, I think it was in, I want to say Indonesia, in a concert, where he, with his big hat, was in front of thousands of people. And I felt that we had arrived at a special place in terms of what he had done, his contribution. Because he was a parandero, a Paranda master, and his whole life was spent with community music.
To appreciate Nabi, as he is lovingly referred to by those closest to him, one has to understand his craft, his place in Garifuna Duo, as well as the pantheon of Belizean musicians. As an expert in the oral tradition, a renowned griot, many of his compositions are drawn from everyday experiences.
He's a spiritual leader in our community. And so, in terms of Garifuna spirituality, he has contributed significantly in that regard, being a spiritual leader. I would, from time to time, visit with him at his Dabueba, where he would give, stories about his youth and, his trials and tribulations and some fun things, some sad things that, he would always be giving stories about.
Paul Nabor was one of 3 Belizean musicians, including Wilfred Peters and Florencio Mess, to be crowned kings of their respective genres. His coronation as the monarch of Paranda music by cultural icon Andy Palacio is fondly remembered by former president of the National Institute of Culture and History, Yasser Musa.
The strongest memory I have is when he performed with Andy Palacio on that stage, and at the end, Andy held up his hand. And it really galvanized in my mind how important it is for us to recognize the past in terms of the contributions that people have made, and also acknowledging the present. In my view, Andy was the present, and he was a kind of the force of the past that Andy was standing on. That's the image that I had. And so today we can reflect and look back at that and realize that that is just the beginning. That Paul Nabor is a lesson to all of us. That our cultural mind, our cultural spirit is what really identifies us as Belizeans.
That spirit is the embodiment of Nabor's magnum opus, a heart-wrenching guitar ballad called Naguyane, I Am Moving On. The aptly titled song speaks to his death and the band of fellow musicians that will accompany his funeral procession.
He was doing pretty good until the 12th of October, midday. That's when he fell ill with the 3rd attack of stroke. From that, when he was hospitalized until the 20th of October, he was released and he came home, not in a good condition because he was still, weak and so forth. He was not eating. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want to take his medication, which we forced him, and he did. Until yesterday evening, 5:45. That's when he fell ill again. And he wasn't responding, and we saw that he was deteriorating. We rushed him straight to the Punta Gorda Hospital, and there in the A&E, he gave his last breath.
A final lungful, bringing to an end a life well lived. While his life, to many, was an open book, the origin of the stage name Paul Nabor remains a mystery.
From the time I was growing up, he was known as Paul Nabor. Maybe somebody else could speak to how he acquired that name. But clearly, it was even before he went on a big stage. He was known as Paul Nabor ever since I was growing up. He obviously loved that name, and everybody recognized him as that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't know him as Alfonso Palacio. It was when I started to get close to him, then I asked him, "So, Uncle, what is your real name?" And then he told me, "Well, you know, my real name is Alfonso Palacio."
Arrangements for his official funeral are presently underway.
We are awaiting the arrival of his only child, his daughter, who should be arriving here in PG on tomorrow Friday, October the 24th. Upon her arrival, then the plans will flow. But we have already been approached by the government of Belize because they want to offer a state funeral. And we have also been approached by Niche because they want us to offer a tribute where we'll invite paranderos from all across the country.
Mama, there was your Mali, John Anita, Mama, there was your Mali, I'm a best in a go, I'm a family, them and our children, you don't know about me, I'm a best in a go. I'm a family, them and our children.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Kayatano.